You have it on.
Hey everybody on Facebook, YouTube, thank you for tuning in for Big Beer Friday. I'm joined here by my good friend Tom Hampel. We've got a lineup of brews that we're going to taste, starting from the hoppy and fruity and ending with the big, strong, and dark imperial stouts. And we're going to talk about the beers, we're going to put them through the Fizzics system, we're taking questions, and we're also doing a giveaway at the end of this broadcast. So if you stick around, if you tune in live, throw a comment, ask us any questions you might have about the beers, the breweries, Fizzics, Wait Tap. We'll answer them for you, and one lucky viewer is going to get a Wait Tap sent to them. So let us get started here. All right, so first beer we've got a IPA called Juice Box. All right, put that there so you can see. Cool can art. This is actually a beer that I brought back from London. This is a craft brewery in London called 4 Pure Brewing Company. All right, and this beer is, let's read you some stats. 5.9 ABV, 56 IBU. This is a 500 milliliter can. It's a citrus IPA. I believe they added some grapefruit in there. So fresh orange zest and aromatic hops. Intense flavors of mango, papaya, bitter, orange. We'll see what we get when we taste it here. Throw it in the Fizzics system. And how do you do that? It's pretty simple here. You just press this button to open her up. Open the can. We're going to guide this stainless steel tube directly into the opening of the can. Click it down in position, and then we're ready for a pour. So I'm just going to hold a glass at a 45-degree angle. Going to gently dispense, keeping all that CO2 dissolved in solution. Don't want to alter the body of the beer at all. But we do want to give it a nice head of foam, and we do that by pushing back. And you can see when you engage it in that position, it gives you a really dense head of foam with tiny bubbles that are all the same size. So it's not going to collapse on itself. It's going to give you all the benefits of a great head of foam all the way down. What are those benefits? Well, appearance, aroma, flavor. And the big one that everybody picks out right away on a side-by-side is the mouthfeel. So it makes it really smooth and creamy. But we're going to start in order here, and we're going to start with the appearance. So this is a nice, slightly hazy, I would say, gold. Maybe a darker golden color with an orange tinge. Pretty beer. Definitely get that hoppy, grapefruit, orange, zesty aroma. What do you think, Tom?
Absolutely. The nose, mouth.
Yeah, great mouthfeel. Glenn says, looks nice. Cheers, Glenn. Thanks for tuning in, man. Yeah, this is delicious. So what I really thought about when I visited this brewery in London was that, wow, this is a London craft brewery doing like an American craft brewery overseas. They really had that whole, and they had like an industrial space. They were cranking out tons of different IPAs and really hop-forward beers with American hops. Kind of a little different niche than a lot of the traditional English brewers, doing a lot of bitters and English style beers and such. So they're really branching out. They had a whole breadth of styles, kettle sours, barrel aging. So really cool brewery. Check it out if you're ever in the London area. I smuggled home a few cans in my suitcase, but this was one that made the voyage. You got to drink them fresh, these hoppy beers. So what better time than a Big Beer Friday? See, we got this beautiful lacing on the glass here. That's a good sign.
Definitely holds your head retention a lot better.
Yeah. And the beauty of these devices is if you want to top it off with more foam, it's kind of there on demand for you. You can just add on some more. Gretchen says, name of the London brewery again? We'll be there next month. Oh, awesome. It's called 4 Pure. So 4 spelled out like the number. Let me zoom in on it. 4 Pure. And really successful. They're in the middle of an expansion. They have really nice staff. So go ahead and introduce yourself and tell them you heard about them from Fizzics and you had to come check them out. They're actually on a cool little street in London called Bermondsey. And there's like 6 breweries or something on the street, so they call it the Bermondsey Mile. So if you go on like a Saturday, you start one end of the street, and everybody just kind of, they start on either side, and you just hit all the breweries along the way. Definitely recommend it if you like craft beer and you find yourself in London. Guy says, hey guys, love my wait tap. Once in a while, he has some issues with the phone. Yeah, reach out to us, support@fizzicsgroup.com. We'll take care of anything like that. So, what do you think of this one overall?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Definitely better than most European beers that I've tried in terms of
Like an American style?
Yeah, the American style, because most of the time you're getting a English style IPA, a little bit more mild, more English malts, English hops. They're not as,
It's refreshing
juicy,
to not necessarily be an English style IPA. Nothing wrong with that. Let's see when this was canned. It tastes really fresh still. Can't make out their coating there, but anyway,
a lot of that orange zest on the back end.
Yeah, it's not overdone, but it jives with the hop profile really nicely. Now I'm gonna go grab the original system. If you want to start talking about the next beer, you know a little bit about that one.
So the next beer actually goes really well with the 4 Pure. Kind of a tongue twister here. Little homebrew done by my cousins and I. It's called our Oh My Mandarin IPA. It's kind to mimic the New England style IPA, retain a lot of that juicy flavor that everybody wants. It's brewed with Nelson and Citra hops, and we use whole Mandarin oranges. Do not waste any of it, which I know you said was pretty awesome. We use the rinds, everything goes right into the beer for the full flavor.
So we just got a question asking about for beers like stouts, does it work with all beer styles? Yes, it does. And we have a little breadth of styles here. Some not block us. There we go. So yeah, this is the original model. It's bigger. It's more flexibility for, if you're gonna go with a 22 ounce bottle, 750 milliliter cork and cage bottle, or even a 64 ounce growler. It'll all fit in there. Again, it's battery operated, 4AA, and the technology is the same. But if you find yourself using a lot of growlers and whatnot, this might be the system for you. So let's get into this pour. I'm excited to try the homebrew. It'll be a good comparison after having a commercial example of a citrusy IPA to
So we've got a lot of positive feedback on this from various people. Gary Monteroso, to put him out there for his show, What's on Tap. We visited him, had a little segment on home brewing with him. He loved this beer. So did Terry Noren. That's on there.
It's beautiful.
So probably the best beer we do.
I'm excited, man.
Topped off with a nice touch of microphone.
Have you had this through the Fizzics yet?
I've not had this through the Fizzics.
Right
this
on.
is the first.
It's a beautiful color there. So did you mention to the audience how you actually got the Mandarin in there?
Yeah, so basically this is a 10-gallon batch. It's got basically, we'll round up to 100 Mandarin oranges. All hand-peeled.
Whoa, launching out of there.
Take the rinds, we bake them, we throw all that latent boil. Actually take the Mandarins and juice them over the boil kettle and drop them all in. So we don't waste any of it.
It's all going in there. And they got the extra step of baking, which I think is pretty cool.
Yep, brings out some of the acids in the rinds, really kind of pulls the beer all together.
Wow, that essence is totally captured in the aroma. Dude, look at that. This is like all you fans of juice bombs out there. This is your adult OJ right here. That
you get
is
that a lot. You have your breakfast style, so everybody says this is their breakfast IPA.
Yeah, well, there you go. Creating a new category.
Got it. Now it's all about innovation nowadays, right?
Mm-hmm. Dude, that's delicious. Well done.
This
is going to be a wedding beer, right?
This will be a future wedding beer, which I do have to give props to my two cousins, Matt and Johnny, who are part of the threesome of Woodgrove Brewing Company that we call ourselves.
Check them out on Instagram. We do a lot of reposting of some of their photos because they have some awesome lifestyle imagery with the Wait Tap. I know you're a big fan of what it can do for the beers, and it's great. Get the message out there. If you're doing Father's Day shopping or you don't have an idea yet, hey, cheers, Laura.
That's my mom.
Cheers. So yeah, if you're just coming in now, we're doing some beer tasting, but we're also going to be doing a giveaway, and we're going to announce it live based on people who are actually viewing and commenting. So we can have our camera woman overseeing that. Maybe she can pick one for us later. Yeah, let's show off this good lacing here. Oh yeah, beautiful.
Great head retention. Really holds in that mandarin flavor.
I've never been able to. I've never had a beer like this where there was citrus added, or specifically like an orange that I could pick out the type of orange, and this is so mandarin-like.
So the original version of this was all Nelson and Citra hops throughout. That was it. No bittering hops, just to bring out that full effect. Actually, this last batch, when we went to the homebrew store, they were out of Nelson. So we actually substituted in a couple other hops. We actually used a bittering hop and Mosaic and a little Simcoe.
Can't go wrong with Mosaic. People love it.
All big, juicy, flavorful hops.
Have you heard the zero IBU IPA trend going on now? Essentially just hop bursting for the dry hop, which probably does give you a few IBUs, but it's hard to calculate. I'm enjoying this, man. We're going to have to finish the rest of this off air for sure. I'm going to come back to that one. So what do you got next? This is one that you brought here for our Bottleshare. So I love the sound of this one, and I love the brewery itself. Glenn says he loves Mosaic's hop. I think they're my favorite at the moment. Really good stuff. I'm in the process of experimenting with some new hops. There's some really exciting stuff coming out all the time. Props to all those scientists and universities doing the studies. It's good work. So here we have Caffe Americano. It's a double stout from Cigar City Brewing Company, based out of Tampa Bay, Florida.
Big 13% stout, which by itself, this is another one I've never put through the Fizzics system, but super creamy.
I'm excited for
alone, this one. Which I love the little saying on the back, which says traditional Caffe Americano is made from adding water to espresso. So we break all the rules in this double stout. We refuse to add water to our beer after fermentation, but have no issues adding beer to our espresso.
Boom.
So you can use your imagination and figure out that there's a lot of coffee in here.
13%, wow. Yes, this is a strong one. We are on Big Beer Friday, and this is second to last, so you might think, how are you going to have the 13% beer not be the last one? What do we got with the heavy hitter on the end there? It's like 14.
So this is your beer.
Yeah.
Timeliness for no one. Little Rolling Stones action.
Yeah, and we'll get into that story as well, but first we'll dive into, been really excited to try this one. I'm a big fan of coffee and beer, and when you put them together. Harris says 13%. Hey now.
So I actually picked this one up on vacation last summer. It's been in the cellar since, but it should have, 13% aged very nicely.
Look at that. You can tell that thing is viscous just coming out. Will there be a third version, one that will accept 22-ounce bottles but not as big as the first? Asked John. Great question, John. We'd love to hear what you guys' feedback is, or what do you want for a third generation? I think certainly we will create a third edition. And, that's definitely on the horizon. Look at that dark foam. That is great. So, yeah, and I think that the next model will be able to accommodate some of the larger format bottles, kind of like the original system that we're pouring out of now. But it might also have more of a look like our pretty weight tap here. So I think if you combine the size of the original and the look of the new ones, that's probably going to be in the ballpark of where our third gen looks like. But again, we don't have anything really set yet, so we'd love to hear feedback. Do you guys want to see something of these two combined, the benefits of both combined? What kind of features do you think would be cool? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your feedback. But I can't get sidetracked from this. You guys need to see this foam up close and personal here. That is dark and rich. And I got to get in there and get those volatile aromas before they go. Cheers, man. Thanks for bringing this one. Ooh. That's got an interesting aroma. Didn't expect that. It's like, it's almost like, there's definitely coffee, but it's like toffee and dark fruit as well.
Oh, yeah.
There's something that I just can't put my finger on.
Someone's got like definitely a figgy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
Going on.
Yeah, that is yummy. Jeremy says, how's that Caffe Americano taste out of the Fizzics? It's an awesome beer by itself. It tastes amazing. The foam is so welcoming It just makes you want to gobble it up. Like, I could eat that with a spoon.
Just see the lacing runs down the glass.
This needs a photo shoot. Cigar City, if you guys want us to take some beautiful foam pictures, just let us know. Gretchen says it's almost 5 p.m. here. You know what that means. Cheers, Gretchen. Somebody asked, a comment came up before about, have you tried putting Hunapoo through the Fizzics? Funny you should ask. The last time Tom and I did one of these videos, it was in his backyard, which is pretty sweet. Unfortunately, we had some Wi-Fi connectivity issues, being outdoors and whatnot, and we put a Hunapoo and then a bunch of other really awesome beers through
it.
Yeah.
True definition of Big Beer Friday.
Yeah, we had like 10 dead bottles by the end of it, and it got lost in the cyberspace. So we're trying to recreate it one little video at a time, starting with this one. So we had to get Tom back.
We will be back in the backyard in the summer at some point, and
yeah,
I do have 2 more Hunapoos sitting in the cellar, so
there you go.
Up.
Where is the coolest place you've brought your weight tap, says Harris? Great question. So I've actually done quite a bit of traveling with the weight tap. You see we've got the carrying case, which I always keep nearby. So this will store your weight tap super easily. The weight tap's about 3 pounds when it's empty. This is like not even a pound, so it makes it quite easy to travel. Oh yeah, so he's got a picture queued up.
Just because I'm so jealous. This guy lives a life. I'll show you. See if you can't make it out.
Yeah, I can zoom in on it too. So that's me with the weight tap strapped to my book bag on the top of a mountain in Alaska. And outside of Anchorage, Alaska. I've taken it down to Asheville. So in between brewery visits, going up there. So there's another Alaska photo. Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's like, where is the craziest place you can bring your weight tap? That's something I would love to just continue to do, push the limit. Because when you have the portability, so you see there's no cords here, just AA batteries. It's lightweight, so it's, if you think about traveling with draft beer, what are your other options? You're going to take a kegerator with like compressed gas tank and beer lines and a refrigerator and a whole keg. That's not going anywhere. So it's, the ability to take your favorite cans and bottles, throw them on drafts, bring it with you. It really engages the outdoor community as well. People who like to hike, bike, run, do all those kind of outdoor activities. There's a big overlap with the craft beer community, and I think the weight tap and the original Fizzics is a good fit for those type of people who like to do activities like that, like camping trips, or if you find yourself outside barbecuing. It's coming into summertime here in the States, and weather gets nice. You go outside and you're grill master, and you got your draft beer right to your side. You got some cans of beer on ice. Good times. So keep that in mind. We're selling them on our website, Fizzics.com. Up until Father's Day, there's a $10 discount on your Fizzics weight tap, so it'll go down to $119.99. So, have you ever tried it with cold brew coffee? Asks Justin. We have experimented with some different beverages, alcoholic and non, and it will dispense it. It will create, so cold brew coffee isn't carbonated, so it's not going to give you the type of foam that we're dealing with here. Also, people will ask about like cider or champagne since it's carbonated. Yes, it'll dispense, and yes, when you push back, it'll give you really tiny bubbles of a uniform size. However, they're kind of going to fizz out a little bit more quickly, if you see like when you pour soda. And that's because beer has proteins derived from the malted barley or malted wheat, and that is what lends into the structure of the foam itself and makes it last longer. And that's really what we're trying to maximize with Fizzics, because brewers work hard with both their recipe and their process to give head retention because they know the benefits. So we are just trying to present the beer in the best light. So we say it's optimized for beer. If you want to go ahead and try to put cold brew through it, that's great. And if you find something that works really well, let us know. Send us a picture. We'd love to see what you're doing with your Fizzics systems. Let's see how this is doing here. That is nice, man. Not overdone with the coffee, but it's got all the flavors you'd expect from like a complex grain bill for a dark stout.
13%. There's zero heat.
Dude.
I mean, you can throw this bottle back in no time.
I didn't even think about that because it wasn't even alcohol wasn't even on the palate at all.
No heat whatsoever.
That's impressive. How long is this? When was this picked up?
Picked it up last July on vacation. It's been in the cellar since. So
it's like this is prime time.
Believe in the bottle it says the bottling date. I'm gonna say it's like June, so about a year.
So this is a properly cellared beer because I know Tom. He knows his stuff. He respects the art and the craft of
5/7/16. So over a year now.
Yeah, properly cellared. If you guys are hanging on to these bottles, 1 year is pretty sweet. Great question from Glenn. Does the system make the aroma stronger? Yes, and that is actually a huge part of Fizzics. How does it make the aroma stronger? It does that by controlling the size of the bubble. It shrinks the bubble down. That's why we call it microfoam, and all the bubbles are a uniform size. So by shrinking the bubble size down, we increase the surface area, and all the volatile aroma compounds, whether it be from yeast, so your esters and phenols, or your hop oils, all the essential oils from dry hopping and late hopping, your malt, your chocolate malts, any additions such as coffee, they're all trapped in the foam. So when you have increased surface area foam, that's giving off more of those aromas. When you're smelling more, it's also giving you enhanced flavor perception. So think about if you have a cold and you go to have a sip of beer, or have your favorite food, for example, and with a cold, it doesn't taste right. Or if you try something with your nose clamped, it doesn't taste the same. So a lot of these aroma compounds, they in the back of your throat and your nose, that is all interacting together to give you what we call flavor. So it's not just what you're tasting on your tongue, which is kind of just like the 5 major senses, like sweet, sour, salty, etc. There's like 10,000 plus compounds for aroma, and when you perceive more of those, it's going to give you a better taste. So great question, lengthy answer, but yes, aroma and flavor. I'm going to top myself off with some more foam here, which is one of the beauties and benefits.
We had 2 other questions coming in. One was from other than my fiance sitting over here, my other number 1 woman in my life, my mother, who asked if she could put her Stella through it.
Yes, good question. Does this work with all beers? Does it have to be craft beer? No. This works great with any beer. You can put your Natty Daddy 25 ouncer in there and have no problem. It's going to give you a perfect head of foam. It's going to present the beer in the best light. You're going to give that an improved mouthfeel and texture, and it's going to give you the benefits, the aromas. You're not going to get crazy dry hopping aromas, obviously, but you're going to get the aromas that were brewed into that beer, and it's going to present it in its best light. Which type of beer works best, says Glenn? So we have it, the frequency of the systems is designed to give a bubble size and density that works great across all styles. Having said that, I am a sucker for a nice tan head like we've got here. So I think aesthetically, the beauty of a stout, imperial stout, dark beer really looks awesome in Fizzics. But that's more just, looks. The actual effects that it has on the aroma and the mouthfeel is same across the board. A lot of times people will take a tiny sip of beer if they think they don't like beer, and they get just foam, and then it's bitter or stringent or grainy, and it kind of turns them off to the whole experience, whereas this foam is wet, it's drinkable, it's not harsh or off-putting, so it really encourages you to explore different flavors and different beers. Gretchen says, what's the biggest size that fits the weight tap? That's the one I have. So the weight tap here, let's bring it back into focus. This will fit a 12-ounce bottle, like a long neck bottle, and then we have a 16-ounce can that we put in there, or half liter, and it'll take up to a 25. So you can put your Natty Daddy in here too. Don't worry about that. So yeah, it'll fit a pretty tall can, about 25 ounces, but it'll stick to a 12-ounce bottle. So if you find that you are using a lot of bottles like this one, which you're about to get into, this is, I believe, this isn't a 22. I think this is a 1. Yeah.
25 ounce.
Yeah, so this one, you're going to want to go with the original system here. So we'll pop that in here in just a second.
Which I will say, life comes with life hacks.
Oh yeah, Tom figured out a great life hack.
Both systems. So my cousins and I, we all have one, and we all started off with the weight tap, and obviously a lot of us have big, barrel-aged stouts and, sours, you name it, that are in the 22-ounce, 750 ml formats that don't fit in the weight tap. So we just found a couple different vessels, whether it's a water bottle that fits in there or just a tall, narrow, like Pilsner glass or wheat beer glass. You can just decanter it out, slowly.
Carefully, because
don't agitate the beer too much. Because obviously if you're going to pour it out like you normally would, you're going to create, the head anyway, and slowly pour it out, and you can, if it fits in there, you can dispense it out, and, you have a nicer pour.
Yeah, so last night, Tom and I worked an event down in South Jersey, Colonial Caffe, great spot, check them out. But we had gotten a pint from the bar, and Tom put his pint glass in the Fizzics system and decanted it into another empty pint glass with a microfoam, and I was like, man gets it.
So, I got a microphone.
So I got two questions that I want to answer before we move on. One was, how do you clean the system? And it's really easy. So what I like to do is just take a can or bottle that I just emptied, rinse it out, and then fill it up with warm water, place it back into the system, and then tap it right through. That's going to clean out everything that was in contact with the beer. And then, so if you're using the weight tap, then I would just let it kind of sit to the side like that, and that's going to give you good airflow. We've got little grooves on the side, so it's going to let it dry out, because we don't want to have a dark, damp, warm environment with, if there's any residual sugars or protein, that's going to be an area where you can get some growth of like mold or something. So definitely make sure you clean it out, not in between each beer, but when you're finished with it for the night, run some water through, set the top to the side, let it air dry. The other question I just saw was, does it keep the beer cold? So with weight tap, we're kind of dealing with this single serve unit. So you're going to pour out your 12-ounce beer and just drink it. Or if it's like a 25-ounce bottle, same deal. And probably don't really need to keep it cold if it's a single serve or 2 servings. With the original Fizzics system, the inner chamber is removable. It's double-walled, insulated, and sealed. And you can pack a 64-ounce growler in there and then even pack ice on top. So it will keep it cool for the lifetime of the growler, which we advertise as being like under 48 hours, because when you open a growler, the timer's kind of ticking. You want to drink those fresh because you're introducing oxygen. So,
There was one other question that popped up too a little bit ago. Somebody asked if it makes sour beers more sour.
I was going to give a quick answer that won't make it more sour, but it does definitely bring out more aroma and flavor. So in that sense, it really brings out all the acidity and the tartness. I'm not going to say that it makes it like more tart or more acidic, but if the beer was pretty acidic and tart to begin with, it'll definitely give you the full effect of it.
I've actually put one sour before through it. Forget what the beer was, but it was a fruited sour. And the aroma came out with the fruit heavily.
I could see if it was a fruited sour, like a framboise or a creek, just like really getting the cherry, getting
cherry.
that raspberry.
I think it was a raspberry sour. So those raspberry aromas just shot right up out of it.
And I've can definitely confirm that if you have like a fruited beer like that, and the foam is amazing because the fruit flavor is in like the wet foam. It's almost like you can just scoop it up and eat it. That was me. It brings out the flavor. Cheers, Lori. Good. Glad you're experimenting. And that's what's great about these systems is you don't have to commit to a whole keg. You can get like a mixed 6-pack from your grocery store and then have each one on draft. What inspired your design for the weight tap? Good question, Justin. So a few things. One was how much space does it take up? So the weight tap is got a smaller footprint. So kind of the thought process there was it could be like a permanent fixture on your countertop. You'd be proud to have it on display. It looks great with the metal finishes and the accents. You can have different color options so it can match your other appliances. It fits in there nicely between a counter and shelving. Also, the majority of people consume basically just 12-ounce cans and bottles, so it's a great single-serve unit, and it's a lower price point. So those are the few main reasons. We really like the design, the front-facing tap. It's more realistic of like a real tap you'd see at a bar. So it's a really good hands-on experience. It's got a good feel to it in the push and pull, and people really enjoy using it like that. And it's bottom loading as opposed to putting in the top from a lid. So we think it's definitely an improved design, and it's at a lower price point too. So anybody who maybe doesn't use a lot of growlers or larger bottles, this might be the perfect fit for you. And check out our website, Fizzics.com, because we have other colors that are not on the video here. Yeah.
So there's one other question that popped up too. Somebody asked if there was a learning curve to the pours.
Yeah, why don't you take over that
I
one?
will say absolutely yes. I'd be lying to tell you if my first pour didn't overflow and just shoot all over the place and made a big mess.
You get excited.
I get excited. I mean, you see all that foam and you see it exploding, you just want to watch it and you want more. So there is definitely a learning curve. I've actually be lying to say I haven't overflowed more than one. I still overflow some because you get stingy. You get up to the top, you want to top it off even more. It definitely takes practice. I mean, a little finesse with it, just like anything you do in life. So that's something, as soon as you get it, say you open it up and you put your first bottle through it and you get happy and hold it back and you're dispensing microfoam, it will overflow unless you have a big monster glass that's going to hold it all, but work with it. It takes a little bit of learning. Once you get it down, you're going to be happy. It's very rewarding.
Yeah, my tip is to err on the side of less foam because people often get surprised about how efficient it is at making foam. Like, usually as soon as the foam touches the top of the beer, I release the tap because even though it just touched, it'll create about ½ inch to an inch of foam, usually just off that. It's a little variance between the beer styles, and you'll get the hang of it as you try new beers and have different shaped glasses. It's something that you'll just naturally learn, but it's fun to play with. And
each beer's, its own beast.
Yeah.
I've had some beers that, the foam just explodes up more than others. And that's just all on, it's carbonation, I assume.
Yeah, like beers have variable carbonation levels that are designed by the brewers. How does the system create the foam, says Glenn? Another good question. So it uses sound wave technology, specifically a sonic wave oscillator. So when you push backwards, the beer passes through the oscillator, it's engaged, and sound waves. So it's not necessarily a vibration, it's more just the beer passing through a frequency of sound waves, much like in an air humidifier or something. And that it's tuned to a frequency where it takes the carbonation that's dissolved in the beer and outputs really tiny bubbles of a uniform size, which just happens to be perfect for dispensing beer. So awesome technology. I use the Untapped app. Fizzics should try and get it in the serving style of the app. Wow, Kirk, great thought, because we've actually thought about that here at the office. We're like, how did you have the beer? Was it in a bottle? Was it on cask? Was it on nitro? We want to have it on Fizzics as an option. So great observation. That's something that we might try to reach out to the Untapped team, see if we can get that on there. Great question.
Into the last beer?
Yeah, let's get in there. So yeah, I'm excited for this one. It's Time Waits for No One. It is a name of Rolling Stones song, which was the favorite song of the Steve Marshall, who is a good friend of the owner of Anchorage Brewing Company. So he wanted a sipping beer that would age well. When he asked what he wanted to call it, his favorite Rolling Stones song, Time Waits for No One, came to mind. And essentially, before we throw this in here, let me tell you a little bit about it. It's aged 1 year in Portuguese port barrels, 14% ABV, 60 IBUs, 36 degrees Plato is the OG, which is massive.
Awesome label.
Yeah, and this brewery is awesome. I visited them in Alaska not long ago. Jeremy says, do you send systems to bars? And then I just missed the rest of it. What we do is sometimes we'll do tap takeovers. We'll partner up with a brewery and we will kind of sit on the edge and we'll have just an extra tap. I think we're going to have to use the same glass unless I go run out and get some. If you want to hold it down for a second.
So real quick, I think we're at a site. You can see this was the first beer we poured, the second, and then the third, and there's still head retention. By now, I know with our homebrew, our head would have dissipated by now. I mean, it's been sitting out room temperature for a little bit, especially with our first beer. There's a lot of foam still in there, great head retention. So the sound waves making that microphone really gives the beer a new aspect. And our stout, we're still clinging.
All right, got some fresh ones here. Didn't have two snifters, but snifter would be the go-to glass for this beer, I think. Can't get more sniftery than this. Are there any parts that would need to be replaced? I don't think so. Really, the only replacement that you need is the batteries and the beer itself. If you get something that gets damaged or lost, reach out to us at support@fizzicsgroup.com. We do have spare parts in our warehouse. We don't have them online on our website store yet. But if you do need some, just reach out and we'll get you hooked up. Justin says, can you replace the handle on either machine with a draft handle from your favorite brewer? Great question. I have personally not done it, but if you can match the threads, this is not a standard thread, so you probably need an adapter. Look at that. That is a dark head of foam. Let's get a zoom in on that.
I'll give you this.
Oh, yeah, look at that. This looks appetizing.
I mean, that's just like thick ice cream coating the sides.
That looks glorious. So yeah, to finish that, this isn't like the standard 3/4 thread or whatever the industry standard is. However, I'm sure there is some hardware out there where you could do an adapter and put whatever tap handle on you want. So if you do that, send us a picture because we want to see. We'll share it. Anything is possible, Justin. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. There's no heat on there.
Mm-mm.
And it's 14%. I think I got a mouthful of just foam, and I'm not mad about it. It was delicious.
Foam with, like... It's hard to explain, but the taste from those Portuguese port barrels is almost like walking up into an attic that hasn't been touched for like 60 years. It's just old, antique wood.
I like the imagery. Yeah, you got to put them in the. Got to put people in the place.
Like,
I wish we could give aromas through the screen here, but
I mean, 40 years from now, maybe we can, Facebook will have something where you can smell things through it. But if you could taste and smell this right now,
this has it has just the right amount of residual sweetness that you'd want in a beer like this, without making it. I would not say that it's unbalanced or too sweet.
No, not at
you
all.
expect some good residual body in this, and it is full of flavor and surprisingly, I don't want to call it light, but with this foam it's like fluffy, you know? It kind of just has a great mouthfeel and texture. Definitely,
nice,
it's got some viscosity, like we can see here the legs on it, if you will. That really takes its time.
I mean, you can see just
Beast of a beer, and in no way is it boozy or alcoholic, which is amazing.
14%. I've had the Caffe Americano before, and I know there's no heat to that or any kind of booze that comes through. I was thinking 14% would get something, but nothing.
Yeah, I mean, part of that I think has to do with the spending a year in a port barrel. You know, it's maturing.
Portuguese port barrel.
Yeah, exactly. Which is a very complex drink in and of itself. So why not pair a complex beer in a complex barrel, give it some time, treat it with respect, and see what you get, and you get a winner. I think this is only like the second time or something that they brewed this.
I think on the back of the bottle it said batch 2.
Yeah, I think they brewed it once, and it was going to be a one and done for Steve Marshall's birthday, and then it must have gotten a huge following.
I can see why.
Yeah, I think they might have switched up the barrel aging too, but glad I got my hands on the port version because it's amazing. Yeah.
Glad you brought it all the way home from Alaska.
Yeah, man, I couldn't leave that one on the shelves. And if you're a regular viewer or if you're first time watching, we do have more Anchorage beers that we're going to be dropping in some future videos. So keep an eye out for that. Let's see. Before we drag on too long here, I want to remember to do our giveaway of a weight tap. So we've got a lot of comments during this broadcast here. I see we've still got some people tuned in with us. So our lovely camera lady is going to pick someone who is tuned on who commented. So do you have a winner? Did you pick one? I saw you over there doing your math. Glenn. Congratulations, Glenn. Thank you for your questions. And we'll be reaching out to you probably in like a Facebook message to see what color weight tap you want. We do have white, we have slate gray as well, and copper. So we will see what color you want and get your address, and we'll get you shipped out. And Justin says, what features are you guys looking to add for the next unit? So there are some different things that we're throwing around there. Maybe the ability to have a few different options of foam density. So if you have different styles, you might be able to dial in a few different types of foam. Maybe you can program what size vessel you're dispensing out of so the software can cut off at the right time, kind of like we have the weight tap. Maybe it has more capacity to fit different size bottles. We have a lot of things that we're throwing around out there. So we'd love to hear in the comments section or just reach out directly if you have a feature that you think would be awesome that maybe we've overlooked, and just any real feedback. If you have one of these systems and you use them a lot, we'd love to hear what you think. Ideas for improvement, because who doesn't want to improve? So,
and if you get a tap handle, put it on there. Send pictures and I want to see it.
Yeah, I definitely.
I've actually thought about that. It's run across my mind, and
we should have looked that up.
The thread is different, but
maybe we should.
It'd be awesome to see some
source an adapter, throw it on our store. That'd be cool. But yeah, this handle here you see is a upgraded aluminum tap handle. Normally it comes with a black handle, but they are available on our website, and we have colors to match all the different styles that we have. So awesome. Glenn, cheers, man. Will do, and we'll be reaching out to you. So hey, everybody who tuned in today, thank you so much. And this was a special little Bottleshare edition. We're in the Fizzics office. And look out for us in the coming weeks. We're going to be traveling and being in different breweries, and we love to hear feedback on these videos as well. See where you want us to shoot from, what beers we should drink, or just you like it, you don't like it, what do you want to see? We'd love to hear it. So cheers, everybody, and we are about to